Hey there designers, Renee here with a Photoshop-based tutorial for a fun, retro-futuristic record store poster. We'll create an out-of-this-world poster by picking apart a few icons in Illustrator, utilizing beautiful textures, and creating our very own starry sky. Follow along by downloading the freebie pack at designcuts.com. Open Photoshop and go to File, New. In the New Document dialog box, name your file, enter a width of 18 inches, a height of 24 inches, and next to resolution enter 300 ppi and use a color mode of RGB. Press OK. To print this on most presses, we would most likely need to convert it to CMYK. For now, working in RGB will give us access to more effects and a full range of bright colors. In the Layers palette, click the Create a New Layer icon. Double-click the layer name and rename it Stars. Click the foreground color swatch to bring up the color picker. Enter RGB values of 4, 11, 27, then press OK. Press Option Delete to fill the new layer with a new foreground color. Go to Filter, Noise, Add Noise. Enter an amount of 150%. Select Gaussian and Monochromatic, then press OK. Now go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur. Enter a radius of 2 pixels and click OK. Next, we'll go to Image, Adjustments, Levels. In the dialog box, bring the sliders closer together until a starry sky starts to emerge. Press OK when you're done. The preview I was getting wasn't exactly accurate, so you may need to go in and add some additional level adjustments. Now we'll add a little excitement to our background by laying in some additional elements. Go to File, Place Linked, and navigate to the Freebies folder. In the BB Arts folder, select Motion Sky 3 and press Place. Hold Shift to maintain aspect ratio and use the corner handle to increase size until the image is just a little bigger than the artboard. Press Enter when you're done. At the bottom of the Layers palette, click the Add Layer Mask icon. Select your brush tool, and from the top left of the artboard, access the Brush Preset Picker. In the dialog box, choose the first brush, Soft Round. Make sure your opacity is set to 100%. Increase the brush size to 2000 pixels by repeatedly pressing the right bracket key on your keyboard. Brush across the top left side of the Motion Sky image, then brush across the top right side of the image. Now we'll create a new layer and name it Purple Glow. Click the foreground color swatch and in the color picker enter RGB values of 64, 62, 145, then press OK. With your brush tool still selected, press the right bracket key several times until the brush size is about 5000 pixels. Position the center of the brush over the top of the Motion Sky image and click once. In your Layers palette, select the Purple Glow layer and drag it below the Motion Sky layer. In the Freebies folder, navigate to the Flat Icons folder. Open the AI or EPS file named Irresistible Rocketship in Illustrator. Use your selection tool while holding Shift to select the stars, cloud, and background color. Press Delete so we're just left with our rocket ship. Now open the file named Awesome Audio Turntables in the same folder. Drag your selection tool from the top right to the edge of the faders and all the way down. Press Delete. Hold Shift and use your selection tool to select the 2 outermost circles around the outside of the record. Then press Delete to remove them. Press Command A to select all, press Command G to group, then press Command C to copy. In the rocket ship file, press Command V to paste. Hold Shift and use the corner handles to reduce the size of the record group until it's the same size as the window on the rocket ship. Now we can bring our awesome rocket ship into Photoshop. Press Command A to select all, then Command C to copy. Go back to your layout file in Photoshop and press Command V to paste. Select Smart Object and click OK. Position the rocket ship at the apex of the upside-down V and press Enter. In the Layers palette, drag the rocket ship layer to the very top and rename it Rocket Ship. In your Layers palette, click the Create a New Group icon. Name the group Exhaust. Inside the group, create a new layer. Select your elliptical marquee tool. Hold Shift and drag across the artboard until you have a circle selection of about 4¼ inches in diameter. Press D to set your foreground color to black and background color to white. Then press X to toggle so white is your foreground color. Press Option Delete to fill the selection with our white foreground color, then press Command D to deselect. We're going to build up our wall of exhaust along the bottom of the poster in a completely unscientific way. Use your Move tool to position the circle along the bottom of the poster so it's only about half visible. In the Layers palette, drag the white circle down to the Create a New Layer icon to duplicate it. Drag the duplicated circle to the right on the artboard. Duplicate the layer again. Go to Edit, Free Transform, and use the corner handles while holding Shift to maintain aspect ratio to enlarge the circle a bit, until it's not quite 6 inches in diameter. Position this on the bottom left. Duplicate the large circle and position the copy on the far right. Copy one of the original circles and this time reduce the size to about 2 inches in diameter. Sprinkle a few copies of the smaller circle around to fill in the gaps between larger circles. For the last part, we'll just use our paintbrush. The main reason for not using the brush to do the whole thing is that this way we can make adjustments to the majority of the elements if we don't like the placement. Create a new layer in the same folder. Select your brush tool. In the Brush Presets palette, select the second brush, Hard Round. Reduce your brush size to 500 pixels by pressing your left bracket key several times. Fill in the empty space in the middle of the artboard, then use single clicks of the brush to begin building up the middle area. Next, we'll connect our billowy exhaust to the rocket ship. Select the Rectangle tool. At the top of the artboard, select Shape, set your fill color to white, stroke to none, and stroke width to 0. Draw a rectangle that's a little narrower than the bottom of the rocket and connects the rocket to the clouds below. Now go to Filter, Liquify. In the pop-up box, choose Convert to Smart Object. When the Liquify window opens, choose the top tool, the Forward Warp tool. Under the Brush Tool options, set the size to 300 pixels and the pressure to 100%. Click and drag down a few times on each side of the rectangle to create little blobs on each side. You're mostly going to be moving in a downward direction, but we'll also taper the top a little bit. When done, click OK to return to the artboard. In the Layers palette, move the rocket ship layer above the exhaust group. Move your rocket ship up just a little by pressing the up arrow key 3 or 4 times to hide the top of the warped white rectangle behind the flame at the bottom of the rocket ship. Lastly, for this section, we'll add some texture to our exhaust clouds. Go to File, Place Linked. Navigate to the Rule by Art folder and choose 25.tiff. Press Place. Hold down Shift and use the corner handles to enlarge the image until the texture area completely covers the exhaust area. At the bottom of the Layers palette, click the Effects icon and choose Color Overlay. Select a blend mode of color and opacity of 100%. Click the color swatch and choose White, then press OK. At the top of the Layers palette, change the opacity to 25%. Open the Exhaust folder. Hold Command and Shift and click the thumbnail of each layer inside the exhaust group to create a selection around the entire exhaust area. Release the Command and Shift keys, then click once on the 25 layer to make sure it's the active layer. Then click the Add Layer Mask icon. Next, we'll create a simple text-based logo for our record shop. We're going to use two fonts that are readily available online, Science Fair Regular and Geomancy Extra Bold. Select your horizontal type tool and click once at the top of the artboard. Type in all caps, rock, bullet, it. On a Mac, the bullet is simply option 8. On a PC, you'll need to open your Glyphs palette to access the bullet character. Open your character palette. Change the font to Geomancy Extra Bold at 300 point. Click the color swatch and in the pop-up, use the eyedropper to sample the brighter red at the top of the rocketship. Click OK and position Rocket in the top middle of the artboard. The bullet point doesn't really look centered, so we'll move it a little closer to the K. Select the K in Rock. In the character palette, set the tracking to -60. Now select the bullet point and increase the tracking to +60. In the Layers palette, click the Create a New Layer icon. Name the layer Rocket Dark. Select your rectangular marquee tool and draw a rectangle horizontally across Rocket so it bisects the bullet point. The exact height and width aren't important as long as it covers the entire bottom half of the word. Click the foreground color swatch. In the color picker, use the eyedropper to sample the darker red at the top of the rocketship and press OK. Press Option Delete to fill the rectangular section with the foreground color, then press Command D to deselect. In the Layers palette, hold Command and click on the T on the left of the rocket layer to create a selection around the letters. Press Command and click once on Rocket Dark to make sure it's the active layer. At the bottom of the Layers palette, click the Add Vector Mask icon. In the Layers palette, click once on the rocket layer to make it active. At the bottom of the palette, click the Effects icon and select Stroke. Enter a size of 8 pixels, position of center, and blend mode normal. The fill type should be color. Click on the color swatch and use the eyedropper to sample the darker red color at the bottom half of the letters, then press OK. This adds a more finished look to the edge of our letter. Select your horizontal type tool and click once on the artboard. Type in all lowercase, records. In the character palette, change the font to Science Fair Regular at 155 point. Increase the tracking to 300 point, then change the color to white and center the word below Rocket. In the Layers palette, hold Shift and select all 3 logo layers. At the bottom of the palette, click the Create a New Group icon and name the group Logo. Select your horizontal type tool again and click once on the bottom of the artboard. Type an address, phone number, and URL. In this case, I'm using 16019 Southeastern Avenue, Los Angeles, California, 54153, 555-212-5483, and designcuts.com, of course, for my URL. In the character palette, change the font size to 20 point. Click the color swatch, and in the color picker, use the eyedropper to sample the dark blue from the record in the middle of the rocket ship, positioned in the center bottom of the artboard. In the layers palette, create a new group and name it Badge. Create a new layer in the group. Select your ellipse tool. Hold Shift and draw a circle on the middle right section of the artboard until it reaches about 3.5 inches in diameter. In the Properties palette, click the Fill Color swatch, then click the color picker icon on the top right and enter RGB values of 87, 68, 133. Next, select the Stroke Color swatch. Click the color picker icon again and enter RGB values of 151, 135, 190, then click OK. For the stroke weight, enter 55 pixels. Click the drop-down menu next to the square icon on the far left and choose the center icon to center align the stroke on the path. In the Layers palette, drag the ellipse layer to the Create a New Layer icon to duplicate it, then go to Layer Rasterize Shape. Rename the layer Fold Over. Now select your polygonal lasso tool. With this tool, you can easily draw straight lines. Simply click where you want your segments to begin or end. We're going to draw a triangle at the top right of our badge. With the selection in place, go to Select Inverse. Then press Delete. Click once on the ellipse layer to make it active. At the bottom of the Layers palette, click the Add Layer Mask icon. Things won't look too different just yet, but if you toggle the ellipse and fold over layers on and off, you can see that we've separated the elliptical shape into two pieces. Click on the foreground color swatch at the bottom of your toolbar and enter RGB values of 189, 179, 214. Select your fold over layer, press Shift-Option-Delete to change the fill color to the new foreground color. Go to Edit Free Transform. Hold Shift and use the corner handles to rotate the fold over piece 180 degrees. Press Enter to complete the transformation, then use the arrow keys on your keyboard to position the piece flush with the cut edge of the elliptical shape. Now select the Type tool. Click in the badge area and type in all caps LA's #1, line break, record shop, line break, 2000 to 2016. Select your Move tool, then open your character palette and change the font to Geomancy Extra Bold at 28 point with tracking at 0. Click the color swatch and change the fill color to white. Now use your Type tool to select just the last line. Change the font size to 18 point and the leading to 35 point. The apostrophe next to LA looks a little crazy, so we'll calm that down a bit. Use your Type tool to select just the apostrophe. In the character palette, set the baseline shift to -8 point. Since that puts us awfully close to the S after the apostrophe, we'll change the leading to 60 point. We're still pretty far away from the A on the other side, so select the A using a type tool, and in the character palette change the leading to -160. In the Freebies folder, navigate to the Blumua folder and open Blumua Futuro Trophy in Illustrator. Use the selection tool to select the trophy, then press Command-C to copy. Back in the layout file in Photoshop, press Command-V to paste. Choose Smart Object and press OK. Center above the copy and press Enter to complete. In the Layers palette, click the Effects icon and choose Color Overlay. Set the blend mode to normal, opacity to 100%, then click on the color swatch and choose White. Press OK when you're done. In your Layers palette, hold Shift and select both the trophy layer and the LA's number 1 layer. With both selected, go to Object Transform Rotate. Use the corner handles to rotate both to the right about 15 degrees. Click OK when you're done. Then use the arrow keys on your keyboard to center everything in the badge. And that's it, we're done! We have a fun, retro-futuristic record shop identity ready for blast off. And with this incredibly useful bundle, you can easily build on this initial look. It's a total breeze to create branded stationery, mocked up websites, and more. You'll even have what you need to put together a stunning proposal and professional invoice when you're done. Whether it's your outcome for this tutorial or something new, head over to our Facebook page and share it with us. Let us know what you think in the comments below and give us a thumbs up if you like the tutorial. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/designcuts to get more video tutorials and regular updates, or visit us at designcuts.com. Thanks for watching. Till next time.